Hey guys, thank you for tuning to Slappy's Garage. We're continuing on to give you some tips and tricks if you want to get into working on your own motorcycle, building your bike, or just modifying it. Up front, we're going to start with doing your own research. Last week we talked about style, and now you have to research that style, research every aspect of the motorcycle, and you're not going to know where to look. I have some key places to look online and in person. So the first one being online are the forums. I think this is one of the most useful resources from anything from doing oil change on your bike to the tolerances of motor parts. This is all information you can get from the forums, and there's a lot of useful information out there. I personally like trying to find 2 or 3 with the same answer before you get all mixed up with somebody who might throw an oddball answer that might have worked, but maybe it's not the right information. So that's something to always go over. You can also see people arguing in the bottom about who's right, who's wrong. There's a lot of different opinions, and there's not only one right answer always, but for something like tolerances, there isn't right answer. Another research is social media. So anything from trying to find your style, I like using Instagram, looking at bikes who have already been built or people riding these bikes and see how they ride and see what they say about them, to motorcycle specific groups such as like Sportster pages. So if you have any questions about Sportster, you can go to a Facebook page, ask a question, and 90% of the time you'll get the right answer from a group like that. Now, if you can ask questions, you can read all the forums, but it doesn't tell you how to do it. YouTube's a very good resource of visually showing you step by step how to do anything on a motorcycle. You can watch somebody build a full frame on YouTube. You can also watch somebody just do an oil change. It's hardest to the easiest kind of things. Everything's out there and everything can be shown visually. Now, another thing that you're going to want to get familiar are part schematics. Now, you can do this in person as well, but finding them online, almost every motorcycle I've ever looked up, I can find a full part schematic and get the actual part number. So you make sure you get the right part you need for your motorcycle. Now, other than online, you can always talk to friends you made riding who have a lot more experience than you. Then they can give you a little bit of a push into the right direction. And then if you don't really have anyone who's more experienced, there's always parts stores and motorcycle shops. Now, a parts store is going to be a little more helpful when it comes to certain things. They'll try to upcharge you maybe, so be careful. Or they might give you a good answer like adding a different fork weight to your bike because the one you have in there you're a little heavy for and it's not comfortable, and this is a cheaper way than building a whole front end for you. Now, if you go to a motorcycle shop, they might not want to answer a million questions because that's their business. They give you a couple answers. Maybe you want to go there and get a tire change because you don't have the tools to do that. Then they'll be more willing to help when you're actually a paying customer. I wouldn't say go to a parts shop and just start asking questions of how to do their job. Now, if you're still trying to find your style and you are trying to find a better community, there's always bike nights and events around. If you look on Instagram or Facebook, there's always events going on for motorcycles. You just show up and try to make friends and talk to people about their builds. And now if they don't want to answer you, don't keep pushing them because they might get aggressive. But it's a very good way to try to get your own style, try to figure out what you like. Especially if you're new to this, you can see different builds and different bikes, all different styles at these kind of events. Now that you have some places to look into, you're going to ask what is important, such as what is your style? We went over this in the last video, but this is something you should research before you start buying parts because this is the foundation of your bike. Once you know the style of bike you want to build or the style of rider you are, you're going to figure out the best upgrades or the best parts to buy. You're going to try to figure out the fitment of parts. So say you have a Sportster, you want a wide glide front end for some reason. Not a fan of them myself, but you got to see if it's going to work for you. You're going to make sure the fitment works and you're going to be able to get everything for that bike to work with that front end. Another thing you're going to look into are the weak points of your motorcycle, such as the Harley-Davidson twin cam in the early models. They had the chain tensioners fail, and issues with that from anywhere up to 30,000 miles. They usually blew up and would destroy your oil pump, making you need a new motor. Then you can also look into common upgrades, such as the early twin cams. A lot of people like those fuel and cam plates because they have a hydraulic tensioner and an upgraded oil pump. Those are common things that people put into these motors because they work. And now going into other parts of the motorcycle, anything that people usually replace a lot is usually something you're going to look into yourself. Other things to look into is the pricing, labor, and cost of tooling. These are all things you want to research before starting to get into your project because maybe it's going to be more expensive than you thought and you're going to have to save some more money. Or if you want to do something to your bike such as a top end, but you don't have any of the tools, necessary tools that you need, it might be more expensive for you to do it than to go to somebody who's done it professionally. Now, there's so many more things you can research when you're looking into motorcycles, but these are just the basic. There's everything else going into the motorcycle you can do your own research on. I will just try to give you some tips to look in some tips of what to look into before you start going ahead and buying everything. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you think I missed anything, you can also do that. And I'll be coming with another video soon.